Hey guys, it's Aaron from More Amusements. Wanted to give you another update. Just tell you more about what I found at the amusement park tonight. So, we had a claw machine damn near catch on fire, which was kind of funny. The name sounds like Rig Hoist, because I don't want to drop names, and their products have always been pretty solid. Anyways, what I noticed is this claw machine has 3 different claws attached to it, and I found the left one getting hot, and I found a coil that was grounding out on itself, basically, because somebody had put a spacer in there, and it was metal on metal and conducting, and it'd work for a couple days and then it wouldn't, and I took it apart and I found this piece and I was like, well, that's not good, and it doesn't need a fucking spacer, so let's take it out and see what it does. And then I realized that it was supposed to originally take a backlight spacer so that it wouldn't ground on the top of the claw mount, I guess you could say where the screen, excuse me, where the cord goes in. Anyhow, I replaced it with plastic and taped it and everything. And I know it's not probably the best solution, but I do know that it'll create a spacer, and it's not going to be electrically conductive, so we're not going to have the same problem. Well, I found it today sitting there the same way, and I was like, well, I wonder if that spacer came out. Well, no, it was sitting just fine. But I was really confused. I was able to shut off the power supply to the one claw, and I checked the relays, and all the relays seem fine. I checked the fuses are all fine. I'm like, okay, this is kind of strange, what's going on here? The connections are good, all the wires are new, so I'm kind of like, well, that's weird. And I unseated the board for some reason, because I tried to reset it during those times and nothing really worked, and I was like, okay. So I took the board out just to check one diode, just because I saw where it kind of attached, and for some reason to me I thought it related to the claw. And so I was like, well, I wonder if we've got like a diode or something like that out. I just wanted to test one just for fun, basically. So I tested it, and it worked just fine, but I had unseated the board to be able to do this, and all the connections looked fine. There's no corrosion, nothing like that. And I reseat the board, and the thing, I flip the switch and it goes back to home, and I put a quarter through it and it works just fine, and it tracks and it goes down and it grabs and it comes up. I even won something, because we have this one set to like super easy, because they're cheap toys and they're fun little toys to win, and it earns pretty good even with the kind of plush we're putting in it. So I'm like, okay, well, when you reseat the board it works and everything, and I never really did get down to the problem, but like a couple hours later I find out, like, somebody's like, hey, should this machine be filled with smoke? And I freaked out because I thought something was on fire. So I grabbed the keys to the game, because I was in the office at the time. I wasn't even anywhere close to the game. And I ran my ass off just to get to this fucking game. And I'll be damned, the left claw was down again, and it was filled with smoke. And I figured, oh, it's got to be coming from the claw. There's something I missed, is what I thought. And so I shut the machine off, I shut the power to that coil off, and then I slid the machine away from the wall, and thank God it's on wheels, because I'm too tiny to move the goddamn thing by myself. And I unplug it, and I have one of the co-workers help me with the move. And I move it into the shop area that I've kind of cleaned up so that I can work on things and not in front of everybody and being bugged every 10 minutes because somebody thinks that a game is broken when it's actually not. Anyhow, so I bring the game into the shop, And I'm feeling the board and the relays and everything, and I'm looking everything over, and nothing looks burnt. No wires are burnt. I'm like, where the hell is this smoke coming from? I took the claw apart. The coil looks damn near brand new, even though it heated up on me. I was like, okay, well, this is strange. This doesn't look like a problem. Check the other coils, the other boards. And they're tiny little boards. They're not very big. They're, you know, like the size of an envelope, maybe? Like a normal envelope, not like a big manila one, but a normal envelope. And I'm like, okay, what the heck seems to be the problem? So I go and check it, and I pull the bottom off the machine where the coins are, and I knew I needed to empty the coins because I didn't know how long the game was going to be sitting there. I didn't know if we were going to have it sitting there for a day or a week or a month. I was pretty confident I could have it going by, you know, at least the next day or so, especially with all the other projects we've got going on there. And I was like, oh, I should be able to get this going. But let's empty the quarters. We'll let them count it, and we'll reload it, and we'll be fine. And I'll be damned. I crawl into the bottom after emptying the quarters, and I see the power supply. There's 3 separate. Hopefully, I'm saying this properly. What I assume are 3 separate power supplies that run 3 separate coils that run in sequence. And it all comes off the main power that plugs into the wall, and you got these little like fork connectors, and they just kind of plug in, and you got to make sure they're tight. And all those are tight, and all the wires look good, and no rats have chewed on anything, no rabbits, no squirrels, no nothing. I checked all that. Everything's hidden up out of the way. The connections are fine, and all the relays are cold. Nothing on the boards look burnt. None of their fuses are done. And I'm like, well, why are fuses not done? Like, something should have blown before we got smoke, but, you know, it's a fucking arcade game, so anything can happen, right? So, sorry, guys. I get up in there, like I said, and I ended up touching the very first power supply on the first coil that's been giving me problems. And it's hotter than sin. It felt like it was sitting in the depths of hell or on the sun for a little bit, and I realized there's like stuff dripping out of it. I'm like, what the heck? And I realized it's one of those stupid sealed plastic power supplies, so they've got, you know, stuff inside, and they have no way to heat sink the damn thing. They don't put fans on it. There's no metal blades to try to pull the heat off of it. It's just all plastic. And I don't know if because these games are more or less outside that they get hot, or it's the amount of use they get because we are at an amusement park and they earn really well, or what the deal is. But I know they're getting hot, and so I know they have 3 others of this same claw machine. And like I said, the name reminds me of Rig Hoist, if you can figure it out. I hope the best for you. It's pretty simple. Anyways, it's a pretty common claw machine from what I understand. And I've never seen problems with this like it. And what I did is I checked the first 2 machines that we have for parts, and they'd already been stripped of all these power supplies. And when I looked where the number 1 slot was for the number 1 power supply, it had a burn mark. And so did game number 2. And so did game number 3. And now the one that was working, which is game number 4, I'll say, also has it now. And what I realized, this seems to be a pretty common thing on these machines. And I don't know if it's because somebody screwed them up before I got there, or because they came bad from the manufacturer. And I don't know if it's like an old Gottlieb pinball where you need to run an extra ground or something like that, you know what I mean? So I'm going to do some more research and figure it out. But I replaced the power supply, and I replaced 1 fuse that I saw was kind of goofy. And I said, well, it's getting continuity, but it just didn't feel right. So, I mean, I could see a little melt on it, and maybe that's just the way that fuse was built, but it just seemed weird to me, so I replaced the fuse, and the game boots up fine, and it works, and it plays, and I played it like 10 times. And I know that's not a lot in the scheme of things when it's at an amusement park, but hopefully this will fix it, and it'll keep it running for the rest of the season. And when it's off-season, I plan on trying to rebuild it like the $6 million man and just make it bulletproof so that we don't have these problems when we're not replacing power supplies every 2 months. In the meantime, I also told them to order me new power supplies because I think I can make 2 machines work in the rest of the season than I can just 1. So hopefully we can get 2 of them put back together. Like I said, I took the one that I caught on fire basically tonight and put it back out there, and it's working. I did have to replace the plush though because the smell was fucking horrible, and it just got into all the plush, and I let it air out for hours. Then I picked one of the plushes up and I took it outside and I walked it around the park. I had it on my belt buckle and everything, and I pulled it out and I smelled it, and I could still smell electrical fire. So I replaced all the plush in it. So we basically lost almost 3 claw machines worth of plush. Now granted, they've been played for a while and they were going to need to be restocked soon, but we still had plenty of plush and plenty of toys in there that shouldn't smell like fucking burnt electrical shit. So just wanted to give you guys an update on what I did today. I did pull like 20 bucks out of a goddamn coin pusher in the coin mech and all the little trays underneath it. I don't see why people continue to try to shove quarters into things when they don't accept them easily. I hadn't checked this machine yet. I assumed it was working well. The guy that operates the refunds was writing the wrong coin pusher down, so I kept checking the Monopoly coin pusher, and I was like, there's nothing wrong, everything's fine. And then I come to find out it's, what the hell's the name of that game? It's got 4 drawers on it, but we're only using 2 out of the 4. Jumbo Giant or something? I forget the name of it, but it's like it's actually kind of a kiddie theme, which is weird to me. It's a coin pusher, but you only get tickets just like everything else there, but, what the hell's the name of it? I forget, but anyways, it's like a safari type themed coin pusher. It's got 4 drawers, and we're only using the 2, like I said, but yeah, one of them was just chock full of just jam shit. And what I found, what was jamming it, is people think they can be funny and drop in a penny or a dime or a nickel, and some of them fall through into the slot like they're supposed to and say, no, fuck this, we won't take that. But others of them just tend to find their way into strange spots and jam shit up. Yeah, so there's an update. We caught on fire tonight, damn near. The game is working again, but it did damn near catch fire. And we found a fuck ton of money in a coin pusher that shouldn't have been there, so I just, threw it down the chute and let the game pump some tickets for a minute. Anyways, enjoy, guys. Like and comment below, please.